Welcome back, fine folks of the internet, to Small Stories with Small Media. I'm your host, Dave. Let's jump into it. In the Small Story segment, every week, I'm going to be touching base on some developing stories throughout the week in the NFL. For example, big game matchups, underdog stories, player news, any notable highlights. And of course, if there's something that you want to talk about specifically out there, make sure you leave some notes in the comments down below. On top of that, before we jump into things, if you enjoy what you're about to watch, please leave a like for us. It really helps the channel grow. And of course, if you want to stay tuned to what we have to be pumping out going forward, we do our recaps, we do our sits and starts for fantasy, sleeper options, and of course, we talk about the spreads on the weekends as well. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well and notify yourself with the little bell down below. Now, in today's small stories, I really want to jump into some injury reports and the bipocalypse. This is going to be a rough week. This is going to be a rough ass week. Starting with the bipocalypse, we have 6 major teams out in week 7. The Bills, the Cowboys, the Chargers, the Jaguars, the Vikings, and the Steelers. 6 teams. That means you are sitting not only those defenses, but for the Bills, you're sitting Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Zach Moss, Devin Singletary, Dawson Knox. For the Cowboys, we're sitting Dak, we're sitting Zeke, we're sitting Tony Pollard, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Dalton Schultz. For the Chargers, we have Herbert, Eckler, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. For the Jaguars, not so big of a hit. You might be sitting Lawrence and LaVisca, but of course you're sitting James Robinson. For the Vikings, we have Kirk Cousins, who's been playing great. Thielen, Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, Alexander Madison, all out. Even Bourne has been playing very well as a wide receiver 3 for the team. And then lastly, for the Steelers, hopefully you don't own Big Ben and have to sit him. But we're sitting Deontay Johnson, Najee Harris, Chase Claypool, Pat Freiermuth. And if you did take a peek at the last video I rolled out, hopefully you did, we did go over some of the waiver wire grabs from some of these guys you can get up for week 7 to replace what's going to be happening with this bipocalypse of week 7. Now, I don't know who made the schedule. I know, and it can't be an easy job out there, so whoever did it, kudos to taking care of business. But my goodness, 6 teams out this week, it feels painful. Jumping into some injuries. Pull this up. There we go. It's nice when my technology works. We have Kareem Hunt. That's a calf issue. He did not play in Thursday's game. We have Nick Chubb. He did not play. He may have played on Thursday, but he did not play on Thursday, as we all know now. And looking forward, I don't know if he's going to play next week either. We have Dawson Knox, a broken finger. He is on bye this week, so that's obvious sit regardless. But he did get some surgery done, and we'll have to see what happens with him going forward. Julio Jones, he exited Monday's game in the third quarter after playing quite well, actually, making a wild catch off of a helmet. Toe dragging, doing what Julio does. He says he feels good and he feels normal, that he might be back this week, but we won't know until we see it. Antonio Gibson, he had an MRI on Monday, shins and calf. He is more than likely out, possibly for a few more weeks. Calvin Ridley, he's set to play, or that's the word around anyways. He is a must start. If he's in, you start him against the Dolphins, without a doubt. Michael Thomas. If you've had him stashed this long, you have to keep holding him. People are probably going to try and trade you for him and try and sneak him in before he starts playing. But his ankle does seem better, but he's expected to miss a couple of more weeks going forward. Speaking of ankle, Jerry Jeudy. He was supposed to be returning week 8. I think that's a little more optimistic than what's actually going to happen. I expect him to be out probably week 9 and week 10 even. He might see some playtime back in week 10. And if you're a Jerry Jeudy owner, you're hoping he gets back sooner than later. If you're a Broncos fan, you're hoping he gets back sooner than later. He just helps the team significantly. Baker Mayfield did not play on Thursday. He had to sit his torn labrum is a lot worse than they had expected, and he will get some surgery in the offseason. He is expected to play next week, and he is a tough SOB, so he may be in. But if you would have watched my previous episode of sleeper options and waiver wire grabs, you would have seen that Case Keenum and Dearness Johnson were great options, and this is a good summary of why the Browns are hurting. Tyrod Taylor is day to day. It'd be great football. It'd be great for football if Tyrod came back and for the Texans in general, but Davis Mills definitely helps their tanking possibilities for getting that better pick down the road. So I don't expect him back anytime soon. Lastly, Paris Campbell, significant foot injury. I do believe he's out for the season. This poor guy, man, he just can't catch a break. He's always hurt. That being said, some notables that I want to touch base on. AJ Brown, he's had some food poisoning. Chipotle's really messing with his bowels, apparently. He can't keep anything down. He's been tweeting about it. So great job, Chipotle. Rough go on that one, guys. And that being said, we also have Alex Collins possibly out for the Seattle Seahawks. And we also have Chris Carson out as well. Kadarius Toney for the Giants, along with every other receiver that they have right now. And Saquon Barkley, of course, is out as well. CMC still on IR for the next few more weeks. Not great, Bob. Week 7 is going to be rough for fantasy, guys, but hold in there. Even if you're not doing the best, don't worry. People are they feel like they're sailing right now. So if you stick to it, keep it up, make some trades, make sure you use the waiver the way that you should. You can get out of that 1-5, 2-4 slump that you might be in, and you can still make playoffs, because if you get in, you can win. So let's move on real quick to the next segment of this, and that is going to be our Thursday night recap. So I'm pulling it up here. We had the Denver Broncos go into the Dog Pound in Cleveland. And again, hopefully you checked out the last episode I pumped out, because I told you to pick up Dearness Johnson and Case Keenum to back up Baker, who did end up not making it into the game. Teddy Bridgewater, 15 points fantasy-wise, not phenomenal. He was 23 of 33. Not terrible, but less than 200 yards. He did have 2 touchdowns. There's a fly in here. I almost got him. But he had an interception as well. And Case Keenum filling in for the injured Baker Mayfield was very, he's serviceable for football-wise, for an NFL game. Fantasy-wise, not phenomenal. 1 touchdown, nothing great. We have some running backs. I want to make sure these line up correctly. I don't know how the Broncos have such a good tandem with Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon, and they were down the whole game. The first half they were, they didn't score a point, but these were the guys that put up points. So obviously Teddy Bridgewater is just playing dink and dunk and throwing the ball to these guys. But I mean, Williams with 14 points, Gordon with 10. They both got some on the ground, in the air. They both saw the end zone. On the other side, though, Dearness Johnson, stud. 168 yards of total offense, and he found the end zone. Oh, I hope you guys had a chance to pick him up, because he was definitely worth the play. On the wide receiving end, we had Cortland Sutton put up a very average game, 9.3 points. Caught all his receptions for 68 points. Tim Patrick, disappointing, 2.6. Jarvis Landry was in. Good to see for the Browns. Unfortunately, of course, he got injured again. His left knee, which is not his bad knee, so that's unfortunate for him. And if you're a Browns fan, it's hard to see, him finally getting in and looking good, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's out again. It's very unfortunate, but he did put up 6 points before he had to leave. Odell Beckham Jr., just a wasted spot at this point, really. In the tight ends position, we had Noah Fant do Noah Fant things, 6+ points as per normal. He's very, very average floor. He does have a high ceiling, but right now the Broncos don't look phenomenal. As you can see, I am a Noah Fant owner in this league in particular. I'm starting to debate whether I should keep and hold on to him. This is a dynasty league, so he has a little more value there, but it is tough to see him being very average. And on the other side of the ball, Austin Hooper, it was not an Njoku game. It was a Hooper game. Every time you're playing with the Browns tight ends, you're flipping a coin, and you got to see whose game it might be. In terms of kickers, if you are using kickers in your team, and the defenses, of course, the kickers were very average. Oh, for some reason it will not let me pull up the defense. 4 points for the Broncos, 5 points for the Browns. Nothing crazy. There you go, folks. So, thank you so much for watching a quick episode here with Small Media. Again, my name is Dave. I am your host. Today we did a quick recap on the Bipocalypse, some injury reports, and of course the recap of Thursday night's game. So expect that going forward. If you liked the video, leave a like. It helps the channel grow. If you enjoyed it, of course, and you want to stay tuned for the next episode, which I'll be airing tomorrow, that'll be our spread picks for the week. For the week of for Sunday and for Monday's game, week 7 spreads and bets. Make sure to check it out and subscribe so you get notified as well with the notification bell. Again, I'm your host Dave. Thanks for watching. I am out.